So today we're going to be talking about a client that I had a journey with recently where they came in stressed out because they had a garnishee order. Basically, SARS had contacted their employer and said deduct her salary for the amount of 14,000 Rand. This was the middle of the month and payday was about 10 days away. So to suddenly receive in the middle of the month that you're going to be having 14,000 Rand yanked out of your salary, it's quite a stressful situation. Most people don't have 14,000 Rand just lying around in a sofa somewhere. So when she came in, she was panicked. And we then decided, okay, how are we going to approach this? So the first thing is to find out where this comes from. So one of the reasons she wasn't able to see it was because all the entire 14,000 Rand amount was coming from admin penalties only. She had an outstanding 2022 return that had not been filed because it was rejected. There was an issue with it, a directive on it, and it was rejected. So because it was rejected, it was not filed. She didn't get an assessment. But in her mind, it was filed. And since that time till to date, she was accruing penalties every month. And finally, SARS was going to go and collect from her employer. And so the first port of call is to check, right? Admin penalties are in a separate section in your e-filing profile from your income tax assessments. So there are two different statements. You'll have your income tax statement of account. You'll have your admin penalty statement of account. You'll need to make sure you keep an eye on both of those. So for Dineo, it was the admin penalties that she owed. And so once we resolved the return that was outstanding, we then submitted a request for remission. Basically, we go to SARS and say, look, there were extenuating circumstances. There were reasons why she didn't file this. Number one, she thought she had filed it. She tried to follow everything. But two, all her other returns are filed and they're filed on time. So she has a pattern of filing. Number three, the 14,000 Rand is just so far outside the realm of what she normally pays at the end of the year. So after her payroll taxes are deducted, at the end of the year, when she does a return, if she pays something, it's never more than 500 Rand. So to suddenly have to pay 14,000, it's just disproportionate, right? And some other factors. We then say, please cancel these penalties. And but the challenge is a request for remission has a 21-day. Basically, SARS will get back to you in a month. We had 10 days to get this Garnishee order lifted. So after doing the request for remission, we then went and did a payment arrangement. The payment arrangement was to make sure that we replace the Garnishee order. So they can't just lift the Garnishee order without a payment arrangement or a suspension of payment, right? So in this case, we did a payment arrangement to have it paid starting the following month to buy some time. And luckily for her, we were able to get the Garnishee order lifted day before the cutoff date for her payroll at her job. And so that was really good. We managed to save her that 40,000 Rand for that month. She could actually have food on the table, right? And so now the next thing is, okay, are we going to have to pay this 14,000 Rand as per the payment arrangement? Payment arrangement is to pay it over a 12-month period. Now we need the request for remission to come through. Finally, the request for remission came through. They removed the admin penalty. After removing the admin penalties, she had a refund of 3,000 that was sitting there waiting for this matter to be resolved. And that was paid out within like 2 days. So I just wanted to talk about some of the lessons from that journey that could help you on your journey, right? So the first instance is when you submit your income taxes every year, you need to make sure you get an income tax assessment. That's your confirmation, that's your proof that you have submitted successfully and SARS has received it. If you don't have an income tax assessment letter, you have not filed yet. Make sure you double check. Number two, your income statement, your income tax statement of account, and your admin penalties are two separate things. They have two separate accounts, so you need to check both. You might have your income tax filed and up to date, but you might have an admin penalty sitting there. You'll just need to make sure you keep an eye on both. Thirdly, and most importantly, is communication. No relationship works without communication. So SARS does communicate. When they send you those emails will just say there's a communication from SARS. You now need to go to e-filing, check your SARS correspondence, and see the letter, read the letter, try to understand. If you don't understand it, put it into ChatGPT or Gemini or AI and say, what does this letter say? And try to get an understanding of what's going on. So make sure that you are checking your communication. So if you follow the story of Dineo, you'll see that she goes from owing 14,000 to getting a 3,000 Rand refund, right? Within the space of about a month, which shows you that SARS isn't trying to get you. They're just trying to, excuse me, they just want to make sure that you are compliant, right? You pay what you owe. And if you don't owe anything, you have a refund, they'll pay you out. So you need to make sure you keep your side of the relationship clean. What does that mean? Check your communication, respond to issues. There's so many different avenues. The request for remission, if you want to get the admin penalties lifted, a payment arrangement, if you know you owe this money, but you don't have the money, you can do a compromise of debt to say, hey, this is too much money, I can't pay it. So can I have this halved to 50% of it? So instead of 14,000, you pay 7,000. And then the payment arrangement allows you to pay that 7,000 after you compromise of debt over a 12-month period, let's say, right? There's so many, you can do a suspension of payment to have the payment suspended while you're sorting out certain issues so you're not under the thumb. But what avenues are available to you are going to depend on when you responded. If you respond very late, your options become slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, right? But if you respond early, you're able to resolve this. So the key here is for a lot of people, they don't understand that this happens a lot. This happens to a lot of people, but we don't openly discuss our failures or our tax issues, right? Culturally, that's just something we keep to ourselves. But as professionals, we see this all the time. It can happen to you at any time, right? It's not a failing. It's not something you should panic over. It's just to understand that it's something you need to deal with. And there are multiple avenues available. I just mentioned some here, but there are many other avenues available. And the key here is to now make sure that you have your ducks in a row and you understand what's going on, what you're actually responsible for, what you can pay, what you shouldn't pay, what you need to pay, what you don't have to pay. So if you want to do your own free consultation with me, I've been meeting with a lot of uh, business owners and independent contractors and people over the last few months. You can book your free consultation. We'll just discuss your issues and just hopefully give you some insights, help you structure and get an understanding of certain issues. In the coming videos, I'll be discussing some of the questions that I get a lot from business owners, independent contractors, salaried people, individuals, that sort of thing, just to help you get an insight into what happens when you are having to deal with SARS. I'll see you guys on the next one. If you enjoyed the video, please click the link in the description and book your own free consultation. But otherwise, if you are all good, then just subscribe to the channel and give the video a like or share it with somebody that you think would benefit from this. I'll see you guys on the next one.